First, let's pay homage to the lineage gurus, homage to the Venerable Mang Liao, homage to Master Sakya Zengkong, homage to His Holiness the 16th Karmapa, and homage to Master Dupten Dorji. Homage to the three jewels of the altar, and homage to the main deity of Homa today, the medicine Buddha, Obaisaya Guru Tathagata. Sumo, Tanzen Gatso, all the Dharma masters, Dharma educators, Dharma teachers, Dharma lecturers, Dharma assistants, directors of temples and chapters, all disciples present here and over the internet. And our participating VIPs today are the Taipei rep to Norway and Sweden, the Ambassador Dongzhou Liao's wife, Dharma Sister Judy, and accountant to True Buddha Foundation, Dharma Sister Teresa, Good afternoon, everyone. How do you do? Today, let's make an announcement first. Next Sunday, on January 12th, Sunday at 3 p.m., there will be Akasa Garba Homa fire offering ceremony. So next Sunday, January 12th, at 3 p.m., there would be Akasa Garba Homa fire offering ceremony. So on January 12th, the Taiwan presidential election would have passed. Time really flies. Akasa Garba Bodhisattva, the seed syllable is Kang, Kang. The Kang of Lang Yang Kang. Kang means sky or the cosmic space, empty space. And his mudra typically is like this. The tips of the index fingers touching each other, and the rest of the fingers in a clasp, and then extend the index fingers and the tips are touching each other. That's the mudra. Namo Om Ali Kamani Muni Soha. That's the mantra. Om Agyasaki Boye Om Ali Jamali Muni Soha. And he's holding a precious sword and a lotus blossom. So this deity, Akasagarbha Bodhisattva, is the yidam of Kobudaishi.
那么虚空场菩萨是一个八大本尊之一啊。我们讲的
Akasagarbha is one of the 8 yidams, and they are Avalokitesvara Bodhisattva, Manjushri Bodhisattva,
这个普贤菩萨、
Samantabhadra Bodhisattva, Siddhigarbha Bodhisattva, Maitreya Bodhisattva, Akasagarbha Bodhisattva,
纲手菩萨、
Vajrapani Bodhisattva, and Viskambi Bodhisattva. They are the 8 great bodhisattvas.
这个修虚空场菩萨的法，它有特别的法，为什么呢？
So Akasagarbha has a very special Dharma practice, because when Kobudaishi was practicing inside the cave, when he was in spiritual union with the Yidam, a star descended from the sky and entered into his mouth all the way to his heart. So he's in union with his Yidam, Akasagarbha Bodhisattva. So this deity has the Dhamma practice for asking, for hearing and contemplating, which is to increase your memory. For those with dementia or memory loss, he has this very extraordinary skill to increase your memory. When you open the book, with a glance, you would remember it all. We have many children nowadays with extremely great memories, and multiplication and addition, subtractions, divisions, and continually this plus this times that, divide by that, subtract that, and plus, and etc., etc., etc. Say for over 1 minute, and they are able to answer, to give the answer right away. They are already calculating in their brains. So the calculator is lost. They win over the calculators. They can give answers faster than the calculators. So in their past lives, they must have practiced Akasagarbha Bodhisattva's Dharma practice. But if you want to get Alzheimer or dementia, then you don't need to become primary supplicants. However, if you want to have good memory, that you can remember all that you read and that you can understand all the sutras as soon as you open it, then you have to pray to this deity. He's also a wisdom deity, the same as Manjushri Bodhisattva. He's also a wisdom deity. I've said it before, that knowledge is the same as an underwear. Although you cannot see it, it is very important. And this is the yidam for knowledge and wisdom. In a while, when I ask you questions, you don't know anything. When I ask questions, I turn my head this way and everybody is looking down. And then I look to the side and nobody's looking at me. And after asking the question, like the
没有很少
masters
打
above or the venerables
所以一定
below.
要鼓
Nobody
起这一
or
座
very few
虚
people
空
can
菩萨。
give the
如果你虚
answers.
空常菩
Therefore,
萨
you have
不
to
得了，
become primary
虚
supplicants
空
for
常
this
菩萨
deity
真
Akashagarbha.
名叫虚空常菩萨，
So,
他
if you
的
have
气
the
就
wisdom of
像虚空，
Akasagarbha, that would be incredible.
他的
Why
气
is he called Akasagarbha? Which is like the store of the cosmic space, because his wisdom is like the cosmic space.
我在这个彩虹山庄的大殿门口
Just now,
走
at
出
the
来，
front door of the Rainbow Temple Hall,
他眼
as I walked out, I saw the mountains in the
气
distance,
非常的清凉，
and the air is very
那是天马山，
refreshing.
上面撒了很
It
多，
was a divine
当然就是雪，
horse
撒了
mountain
很多的粉，
with lots of
在
white
地
powders,
上撒了白色的
which
粉。
is the snow, of
我
course.
一看，
When I
我的
took a
记忆
look
里面回想到
from my memory, it appeared
拉萨的那一个山口，
the gate to Lhasa,
往拉萨
the mountain gate
那
toward Lhasa, was called
库卡山口，
the
我
Kuka
突然想起
Pass.
库卡山口，
All of a sudden, I remembered the Kuka Pass, mountain pass,
布满雪，
and the mountains were covered by snow halfway down.
那一种景象，
So the scenery
这个神山
was also like the sacred mountain,
唐古拉山
which was called Lengqing Tangura Mountain.
啊，我在山庄这么多肥了，而且
So
这
I've
段
been
日子
to Rainbow Temple for many times, and I have lived here for a while too. I've never seen it like this.
这样子的气候，
Just this kind of
这样
weather,
子的山形，
this kind of look of the mountains make you remember
神山
the sacred
这个
mountain
神山
of Tibet,
念青唐古拉山，
Nenqing Tangura Mountain.
心中啊有一种非常澎湃的那一种感觉出来，那一种接受。
And in my heart, I felt that reverence heart.
因为彩虹山庄啊，真的是很有灵气的，这个山庄很有灵气。
So the Rainbow Temple or the Rainbow Villa
在里面
is very sacred, very spiritual and sacred.
灵气，
But if you sleep here every night and you don't feel the sacredness, then they have disappointed their own lives. Look at the divine horse mountain to the front
左面
and to the left
有这个贵人红，
is the
旁边呢
favorable person
有
peak,
西山
and to the right is the
红山，
character one mountain, the screen mountain, the
这个
brush mountain, and behind is the official head
这个
mountain.
Snoqualmie Pass
There are layers upon layers of mountains, and a little bit further is the Snoqualmie Pass, also surrounded by layers upon layers of mountains. In the winter time, it's very serene, like the high mountains in Tibet.
一直纵横不断，
Mountains upon mountains endlessly.
那个河流啊环带着所有的山，
And the rivers flow around the mountains.
草原啊一望无际，
And the grasslands are as far as you can see.
有时候啊你是看不到人
Sometimes you don't see people and their lives.
山满了，
Forests, grasslands.
他经常在那个5000公尺、6000公尺几千公尺以上的
At mountains above 5,000 meters, 6,000 meters, when the sun is shining, it's extremely bright.
冰雪，
And when the sun sets, everything is cold and icy.
那种景象经常
That kind of scenery
这个师尊的这个
often appears inside
心头，
Grandmaster's heart,
尤其是通往拉萨的那个山
especially that mountain pass toward Lhasa. It's called the Kuka mountain pass.
这个彩虹山庄、彩虹莲浪寺，
So this Rainbow Villa, Rainbow Temple has a very strong
睡觉，
and thick sacred energy. So I hope people that live here not just sleep all day long.
一定要好好的修持。
They have to practice, be very diligent in their practice.
他不知道，他还说
Many people have lived in Rainbow Temple, and yet they wanted to leave this place to live somewhere else, to go in retreat or to practice. So these people do not know that the sacred energy of this Rainbow Temple is much better than many places.
这舍近求远啊，
So they sacrifice things that are so close by for something far away that's really quite foolish.
真的是非常
Being able to live in this mountain
不要住了一大堆，
can allow you attainments. Don't let these fools
又蠢
live here
又蠢，是一个名字，
silly and foolish, ignorant.
愚蠢。
That sounds like the name of someone, 愚蠢.
不过我告诉你，真正的愚蠢是很聪明的。
This girl, Yi Chun, is very smart, but her name sounds like silly or stupid.
很聪明的人才起名叫愚蠢，
The very smart one is being called
才是真正
the stupid.
又蠢。
But people that think they're clever, they're actually truly stupid and foolish.
我们今天是药师琉璃光如来，
So today
他曾
we had the Homa of Medicine Buddha,
刚刚下降，
and he once descended, and just now he did too.
以他所持的这个甘露瓶，他的
Carrying the nectar vase and nectar water sprinkled upon everyone.
这个就是治病的甘露。
So this is the nectar to cure illnesses.
大家以后我们的病，
So I hope upon
病
the sprinkles
心理的病，
that
种种的病，
all of our illnesses of the body and mind, all kinds of illnesses can be eradicated.
那我是见过药师琉璃光如来的，
I have met by Sayaguru Tathagata.
也是在白天
I personally
见药师琉璃光如
saw him in the broad daylight.
夜光菩萨，
So Medicine Buddha
菩萨
a sunlight bodhisattva, moonlight bodhisattva, the supreme king medicine bodhisattva, the medicine king bodhisattva, and the 12 medicine journals were personally seen by me. And after having the vision or meeting the medicine Buddha, because at those times I was in retreat and I had an illness like a splitting head. And after meeting medicine Buddha, I was cured. And today I met Vaisaya Guru again and truly grateful to him that on that year he cured my splitting headache. Medicine Tathagata made some great vows. The 12 great vows of Medicine Buddha. 1. To enhance the clear light radiance of everybody. He himself and other people can generate luminosity in their bodies. And it is of the utmost, the extreme, bright, brilliant radiance, like Medicine Buddha himself. Second, to awaken the sentient beings by his majestic posture. He can bestow upon sentient beings the most precious Buddha Dharma. That's the second vow. The third vow, to satisfy the desires of sentient beings so that they lack nothing. So that's to bestow ample resources to give whatever they need. Fourth is to enable all beings to live according to the Mahayana or Paramitayana. So he wants sentient beings to have attainments like a bodhisattva. The fifth is to allow sentient beings to abide by the precepts, to be pure, and to behave purely. The sixth is to fulfill anyone's wishes, like some perhaps is born with handicaps, then you need to pray to Medicine Tathagata. Because of his sixth vow is any people who are handicapped can be recovered, like with the ears, eyes, nose, mouth, or limbs are inadequate, you can pray to Medicine Tathagata to become recovered. Seventh is to eradicate the illnesses of all sentient beings, to allow peace, joy, and the attainment of the Supreme Body. So anyone with illness can pray to him. He has this great vow. The eighth is to transform females into males. So say if you're pregnant and you know that in the womb is a baby girl and you want a baby boy, you can pray to Medicine Tathagata. His eighth vow is to transform females into males. Ninth is to liberate beings from demonic paths, the evil views and thoughts, and to guide beings onto the right path. So all sentient beings can be liberated from the blockages or the bondages from the demons. Like if you have the evil ghosts and evil spirits with you and you have improper thoughts, then medicine Tathagata can let you have the right and proper thoughts. The 10th vow is to free sentient beings from disasters of thieves and robbers and bandits. Many beings suffer problems like that dinosaur judge and involved in a lawsuit and being arrested, etc., even when you don't commit the crimes. So you would be free from encountering robbers, thieves, criminals, and other disasters. The 11th is to satisfy the starving and parched sentient beings, so you can get good food and drinks. The 12th is to provide beautiful clothing to those without clothes. So he has 12 vows. That's medicine Tathagata. If you remember and you can pray to him to make your vows, and you would be fulfilled. And Grandmaster can witness that after I met the medicine Tathagata, the sunlight Bodhisattva, moonlight Bodhisattva, medicine king Bodhisattva, supreme medicine Bodhisattva, and the 12 medicine generals, afterwards I knew that my illness will recover. And sure enough, I recovered. I was well again with the blessings of the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. So medicine Tathagata has many vows. If we know his vows, you can pray to him. Whenever he descends, he would definitely help you. Now let's continue to expound on Lamdre. Third, what is the intrinsic nature of the start of affinity? The verse said, start of affinity is due to others. For a yogi, the start of affinity to rise to meditation is not fixated, nor depending on the stages. The accumulation of the start of affinity is obtained from the channels, seeds, ambrosia, and qi. Other things like food and diet, dignity, everyday life, etc. is obtained from other affinities. Therefore, it is referred as the start of affinity are due to others. So in Tantrayana, the start of affinity for our spiritual cultivation is from the channels. How many channels are there inside our body? 72,000 channels. And the most important one is the central channel, and the left channel, and the right channel. And they are also the chakras. Why do we need this? because these are the path of our spiritual cultivation. The channels are the paths. When you have the path to walk on, then you can cultivate spiritually. And why is it obtained from the seeds? Because in Tantrayana we use the mantra. So that's why we also call it mantrayana. And in Japan it's called the Shingon, or the true sound or true language. And that is the seeds, the seed syllables, the characters. So the seeds are given by heavens. So they are the channel seeds that have symbols, that are symbols. The yidams are transformed from the seed syllables or the seeds. All the deities can appear from the seed syllable, character, as the seed syllable. All the deities can use as their seed syllable. So from Om Ahom, Om means the whole universe, the whole cosmic space, and means the yidams, the appearance of the yidams. And Hom is downward. So therefore we say Om is the Dharmakaya, is the Sambhogakaya, and Hom is the Nirmanakaya. We often say this. That's why we say it, we obtain it from the seeds or from ambrosia, and the ambrosia refers to the light drops. So obtained from the ambrosia, that's the light drops. And what is the light drops? It's the fuel, and obtained from qi. And what is the qi? Qi is the vehicles. Channels are the paths. And the qi is the car or the vehicle. And the light drops are the fuel that's being placed on the qi, that's being transported all over the body. Explaining it this way, you will be clear. And you need to have the channels to be open and flowing, and the qi can move smoothly and with lots of light drops. And the food or the diet, whatever you eat, and the dignity, the everyday life, whether you sit, stand, walk, or stand, is also a kind of start of affinity, but it is due to others. It's others' kind of affinities. And because you eat something, there's this joke. A patient told the doctor, "Doctor, when I eat cucumber, then I would poop the cucumber. When I eat corn, then I poop the corn. When I eat watermelon, I poop watermelon. When I eat the winter melon, I poop winter melon. When I eat pumpkin, I would poop pumpkin or honeydew. So I would poop whatever I eat. What should I do?" And the doctor replies, "Why don't you eat poop? Then you can poop the poop. Then you would be normal." So, like food and drink, in order to ignite the inner fire, and yet you eat all cold things, then you will not be able. How can you ignite the inner fire? So if you practice the inner fire, you have to pay attention to what you eat. You have to eat special food, special things that can ignite the inner fire. It's very simple, right? In order to ignite your inner fire, and yet you eat a cold and cool things, how can you ignite the inner fire? Of course, it would be impossible. This is referred as the start of affinities due to others. In order for you to ignite your inner fire, you have to have the start of affinity for the inner fire, and you have to rely on your diet. And also your lifestyle, your everyday life is also very important. Your dignity, your spiritual cultivation, your posture. You shouldn't always look very weak and crumpled and slanted. Then of course your channels are not straight and smooth. Then your channels are not open. So you need to sit upright. That's why we teach you to sit in the Vairocana 7 postures or the full lotus position is in order to straighten your channels. But if you're always slanted and stoop and crumpled and weak, you always have a hunchback. That means your channels are not right. If you have hunchback, then your channels would be crooked, and you have to straighten it. So when the qi and channels are not open and flowing, then you have all kinds of illnesses. But when they are all open and flowing and straight, then there would be no pain and no illnesses. If there is an ailment on your body, that means there's blockage in the channels of that part. You cannot break the channels, cannot split it apart. It has to be flexible and straight and has no blockages. Say if you have blockages in the brain, then you would have strokes. If the channels in the heart or around the heart is blocked, why does Grandmaster do push-ups every day? It's not to play, it's not for my biceps either. Of course, by doing that, you would have that strong and big biceps or triceps. It's not primarily because of that, but is to exercise the channels around the heart so it becomes a flexible, so that you don't have blockages in those areas, so that they are not blocked. So the Vajra Kung Fu or Vajra fist exercises is to make the channels open and flowing from the head to the neck, to the chest, to the forelimbs, to the intestines and colons, stomach, and the Vajra Kung Fu for the whole body. If you do the exercise, is to make your channels open and flowing. If there's blockage, then you would feel pain. If it's blockage here, then you would feel pain there. So this is the start of affinity due to others. That's the reason.
大菩提道
4. What is the complementary aspects of the 4 paths?
道
The verse said the Mahabodhi path.
无起
That refers to the 3 paths of Sravakahood,
为
Prateka Buddhahood, and Paramita
之十
path.
地
Without this affinity, it cannot gather. Only the sublime fruits of the 13 grounds and the great Vajradhara path can accumulate and gather. Therefore, it is referred as the Mahabodhi path.
这样子哦。
What is this Mahabodhi path?
我认为是四者。
I talk about 3 here, but I've talked about 4.
就是佛
Mahabodhi path is the Buddhahood,
闻道就是声闻圣，
and Sravaka path is the Sravakahood. Prateka Buddha path is the Prateka Buddhahood, and the Paramita path is the Bodhisattvahood. So 4 paths.
为具殊胜
Without these starts of affinities, it cannot gather.
道具
Only the sublime fruits of the 13 grounds and the great Vajradhara path can accumulate and gather.
第一个就是
4
佛圣
kinds. 1 is the Buddhahood,
就是阿罗汉圣、圆觉圣、
Arhatship, Sravakahood, Bodhisattvahood.
最殊胜的果，最殊胜
The most sublime fruits are the 13 grounds, and a bodhisattva has 10 grounds. On the 11th, 12th, and 13th ground, it's the same as Buddhahood.
到了第11地就等于佛了，
Starting from the 11th ground, that's Buddhahood.
所以称为大菩提道。
That's why we call it the Mahabodhi path. And what is the Mahabodhi path? That's the Buddhahood vehicle.
这个有一个总经理，
There's a general manager
他的同事讲，
who told his co-worker,
公司里面
In the company,
我就是头
I'm the head.
啊 CEO， 我就是头。
I'm the CEO. I'm the head.
他的朋友就讲说，
And then his friend said, I believe that.
在你家里呢，
But at home,
啊，这个总经理 CEO 也讲，
and the general manager, the CEO said, Of course I'm the head too.
太呢，
And how about your wife?
这个总经理回答，
And he replied, she's the neck. Why?
因为头想转动的时候啊，
When the head
从脖子
wants to move around, it has to listen to the neck.
的笑话，
That's a joke.
笑话嘛，
But is that a joke?
刚好
It's not.
这个道果里面所讲，
It's just like what's
这个
said
在
in
转动
Lamdre.
的时候啊，
When your head is moving, the start of affinity is the neck.
头才能转动啊。
Only when the neck moves, the head
你
can
的头
move.
怎么转？
If the neck does not move, how can the head move?
头能转吗？
Can the head move without the neck moving?
哎，好像也能。
It seems you are able to.
脖子跟头是一体的，
So the neck and the head are together.
这个怎么讲才是
How should we say it better?
啊？你们有没有更好的？
Do you have any idea? A better example?
我认为有一个很好的，就是我们的食道跟气孔。
There's a good
是
example.
吃进食物的时候，
Our
它食道
esophagus,
会打开。
when the food goes in, then
当
the
你
path would open and the food can go
这个
down.
气一定要从气孔
But when you breathe, the air has to go through the
当你吃东西的时候，东西如果进
the air, the air duct
那就完蛋了，
cannot be through the
它
food
就会咳，
duct.
会把食物咳出来。
So, but if you let the food goes into the air duct, then you would start to choke.
跟你的气管是配合的，
So therefore, the food is working together with the
如果不配合
food
的话，
canal, and the air is with the air. So the food with the esophagus.
就是比较危险啊，比较危险，有时候就是很危险的一件事情。
If not, then it could be dangerous.
然后我们过年的时候是不是要安太岁？要安太岁啊！其实安太岁哪有什么重要？
So do we have to register ourselves for the planet ruler protection? It's not so important, you know. Actually, it's more
安
important
太岁哪有
to register to your wife
是有形？
because the planet ruler is intangible,
其实两个都重要的。
and to placate your wife is more important. Actually, both are important.
是讲理的地方，
That a home is not a place to
不能跟
talk reasons. At home, you should not talk reasons with your wife. If you do, then you would get into an
道
argument.
理的地方。家和万事兴，
That as long as it is harmonious, that everything will go well.
情绪很重要。
It's very important to control your temper.
幸福的基石，
Good communication is the foundation of happiness.
人是佛的。
Rules are fixed
讲道理
and stagnate, but human beings are dynamics.
严重的问题，
So any man who reasons with his wives is
男人们大
uh,
家都要学
has
别和老
mental problem.
争高低，争
So man should be smart.
赢了
Don't always fight
饭吃
to be a winner or to be higher than your wife.
不完都得
Even if you win, can you eat it?
最重要，
Otherwise, you would have to
重要。另外，
take it out. So registering for planet ruler protection is important, but placating your wife is even more important.
一个
And the rest, no more to say.
我们做一个男生实在是很困难，
Actually, it's quite difficult to be a man.
内还要服外，
You have to placate both inside and outside. It can be quite troublesome.
你要安太岁，
And you have to
你
placate
要安
the intangible one. And for the tangible ones, you have to placate both the inside and outside according to the start of affinities.
说笑什么？
So, Tanzan Katso, what are you laughing at?
告诉你啊，
I'm telling
将
you,
来你要安内
in the future, you have to placate both the inside and outside.
没有人可以教你了，
These skills nobody can teach
没有
you,
人可以教你。
only one person.
有一次呢，我一个人坐长途的车远行。
One time,
有一个少年
I was riding by myself on a long distance trip, and there's this beautiful, cute girl.
开心的不
who asked me if she can sit by me. I was so beautiful.
哪里能不快乐啊？对不对？
A beautiful girl
旁边就一个位置，
wanted to sit by you and you're by yourself. How could you be
我们
not
很快
happy?
谈得非常的投缘，
So we
哎
talk
上
and connected really well
是第一次一
immediately.
个人远行，
And she was shy and told me
要做的
that she's traveling far by herself and told me that her mom told her that she had to sit by a reliable man. You know, men are all
对不对？
horny, you know.
所以那个女孩子呢，那个漂亮的
So
小姐
that
对我讲，
beautiful
我看你
girl
长得生
told me
我的，
that you look like my grandpa.
所以我很放心。
That's why I feel at ease and comfortable with you.
他不要快乐的太早啊，因为他认为我是他的阿公。
So he shouldn't be too happy too soon because he's considered to be a grandpa.
依他缘起啊，
And this is also relying or due to the start of affinity.
所以一般来讲，
Really.
我们做这个，我们现在啊，不只是坐计程车，现在还有
Nowadays, we don't just take taxis, we can also take Uber.
Uber，
And in Chinese, Ubo sounds like a witch. And you have to be careful.
做 Uber 也是蛮危险的。
It can be dangerous.
我们有一位空中小姐，
We have a flight
有
attendant
时候会来西安，
who comes to Seattle sometimes.
她坐的那个 Uber，
And the Uber driver gave her a business card and told her, you can just call me directly when you come to Seattle next time.
我都会赶来载你，
And doesn't matter where I am, I would come and pick you
长
up
得也不错。
because she looks quite good and has good figure
她经常很喜欢穿个
and she loves to wear short mini skirts. Of course, I know it's called mini skirt
露了个大腿，
and to expose her legs.
空中小姐常
So she's quite good looking.
她住熟了，每一次一下飞机，她就打电话给
So they get to know each other. Every time she got off the plane, she would call him
飞啊，
and he would prepare some coffee and snacks and sweets for her.
哎久了，坐久了
And after a while,
面，她平时都是坐后面，
she usually sat at the back.
熟了，就
And after they get to know each other, she sat in the front.
突然间
And then one time,
出来，
all of a sudden, there's a hand
怪手出来，
appearing,
她吓到，
and she was shocked.
从此以后她就不再坐她的。
And from then on, she never called that Uber driver again.
所以啊，有时候是这样子的，
So sometimes it's like that.
坐计程车啊，坐 Uber， 真的，
When you get on a taxi or Uber, it could be dangerous for
除
women
非你是安全牌，
unless you're the safe
没有什么。
type that even when you get on Uber, you're okay. So this is also other kinds of starts of affinities. That's the story that she told me.
不安全牌的都要注意。
But the unsafe types should be careful.
老师问小华，小
The
华
teacher asked Xiaohua,
戒指是在街上捡到的，为什
did
么
you find
还给原主？
you found a
街
ring
上捡到了一枚，
on this road? Why didn't you return it to the owner?
送还给原主呢？小华回答：
And Xiaohua replied,
因为戒指上刻着
teacher, because it's written, it's carved on the ring that it is yours forever. Yours forever. So the teacher couldn't say anything. So that's the other starts of affinity. Why am I wearing this ring? Because it is carved Seng Yen. Because it's mine. It's always mine. Because my name is carved on it. And the other ring has Atisha carved on it. And this ring was offered to me when I performed Atisha ceremony in Indonesia. So it is a memory. It has some nostalgia. So it's mine forever. So placarding or appeasing the inside is forever yours. To appease the inside and to appease the outside, you also carve the same, yours forever. So in math class, the teacher said, Xiaoming, if you stick your hand inside your right pocket and you find $100 bill, and then you stick your other hand inside your left pocket and you find a $500 bill, how much is it total? And Xiaoming replied, I discovered it must not be my pants, must be somebody else's pants, because he has no money. The math teacher uses this other starts of affinity, and Xiaoming replied according to the other start of affinity. And the tantric spiritual cultivation is also relying on the other start of affinity. You have to rely on the chi channels, light drops, and the seed syllables or characters. These four things in order to have the start of affinity. That's all for today. Om Mani Padme Hum.